Yeah, I'm back. I haven't been making videos for a while. Well, I haven't uploaded much for a while. It literally feels like forever, like I haven't done it. But I think I made a video last week, and sometimes I forget how to do these things. But anyways, um, I guess I'll talk about it now. Well, currently, what's showing on tonight is um, Grease Live, and it's a remake of the Grease starred that starred John Travolta, and basically the '50s version of High School Musical or whatever. Um, they're Fox has a remake, and with Hollywood there's this, I only say kind of it, there is this kind of a initiative on diversity and including blacks um, in shows, and we really see this often because we notice that there are a lot of interracial dating. There's a lot of token black women in a lot of these white shows, and most of the time it bothers me, but I'll probably say shows like The Flash, where Flash is his love interest is black. The thing about it is that they're not currently dating because she's still mourning the death of her fiance. And so, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that she'll be with the Flash, but they're not really rushing it, and Flash just kind of got out of a relationship, I think, with some other girl. So, they don't kind of tease this, and they don't make it into like a black and white thing of, oh, niggas ain't shit, I only date white boys. And, they leave that out. So I'm not mad at that, even though I don't like seeing it, but they don't make it into a racial issue. The father is in the home, and he's not a bad guy for, they don't put in that kind of situation like they did in um Lincoln Heights, to where they have, and the father wasn't wrong for this, but they vilified him because he didn't like his daughters dating interracially, and he always had to bring it up and create some kind of excuse to break them up, and they always vilified him. Anyways, um, so I'm seeing all this. I clicked on it. I watched the show. I didn't even really watch much. It was like 10 seconds, maybe less. And they're in the gymnasium, and I see the basketball court or whatever. They're in the gym, and I see like there's a lot of, I won't say a lot, but there's like a good bit of black extras. And and I'm reading the description. I'm like, okay, it's still based in the 1950s. It's actually based in 1959. And I commented on Facebook, a Facebook, um, there was an article by Hello Beautiful on Facebook, and they were talking about diversity in shows and how Keke Palmer's breaking barriers and shit like that. And I didn't read it, but I just kind of I put my statement on what I thought about the new Grease, and I just said like, hey, this show doesn't I don't really respect Keke Palmer like I used to, but the thing is that certain shows don't need us, even if they want us. We have to kind of learn to not be in shows or movies to where it doesn't make sense for us to be there. Just think about what's going on in the 1950s. Just think about that. This is the golden year of white supremacy. You know, white women were well, this was pretty much the last decade to where white women were truly submissive. They were practically robots, you can say. But this was pretty much like the golden year of the white family structure. You know, all the houses were the same. Everybody did the same thing. White supremacy was strong. Um, Lynching niggas, beating up people, raping black women. This is the true 1950s. And I'm scratching my head like, what integrated school is this? Is this Greece taking place? You know, is this show taking place? Because you can't tell me that you have a bunch of whites in a school with niggas and like race doesn't come up. And I know like if they brought up race, it would have been tacky. It would have it would have drained out the show. But the thing is that there's certain shows that blacks just have no business being in. We don't need to be in there. Cause I'm looking at the show and I'm like, do we really have to be here? Do we really have to be here? Because I don't see the point. And I see Keke Palmer in her interview. This is what pissed me off was that she was in an interview and she was talking about I'm playing. I don't know her character. I think it's Marty, Mart, Mantle. I don't know if it was Marty or something, but she's saying she's playing this character who's a carefree girl, and that's what rubbed me off. Because I'm like, what black person, especially a girl, is in an all-white school and she's carefree? This is the 50s you're talking about, niggas. You don't have no damn luxury. You don't have that. And I don't like that black folks are so excited over Keke Palmer and diversity and seeing other blacks in a fictional school in a realistic timeline. We weren't dancing with white folks. We weren't singing with white folks in the 1950s. We weren't doing shit with them, really. And so it bothers me that black folks are allowing whites, and this is a perfect example of Fox rewriting history. And I don't know if it was intentional, but it got black folks sleep because now we're gonna have Negroes being like, well, the 50s weren't that bad. The 50s were just like any other time. And this is why I was angry. I'm not really angry with Keke Palmer. I'm just angry that we're in places that we don't have no business in. I'm mad with how people are reacting, how people are overjoyed when people aren't looking at or critiquing it. We don't need to be there because we weren't there to begin with. You know, it, we don't need to be there. What were we doing? We were in segregated schools, learning our own shit, learning to defend ourselves, you know, being taunted by the police, you know, kids were, black kids, I don't think they even had school buses. I remember my teacher who went to school during the 60s and, he was saying like white kids on school buses would throw rocks at them. They would throw rocks at them. So to me, especially with kids, white kids, boy, they practice white supremacy very viciously, and they still do. Because I just learned or just saw an article about three black girls being assaulted in New York, um, Albany, New York, by like 10 white folks, mostly males. So they were getting mugged. So I'm kind of angry because the thing is, you're not gonna soften up these white boys and the swirling community. isn't gonna soften up these white boys. And I don't care how much you rave about them, how many motherfuckers uh, think or look like Jacob Mason. I don't give a fuck. These white boys ain't losing that goddamn edge. And the thing is that we need to recognize that. I don't give a damn how hot um, diversity in the workplace or tokenism or IR dating. I don't give a shit about that being popular or trendy because they ain't losing it. They ain't losing a bit of their anger. And the show it's like I want to be angry about it, but then again I'm kind of like it's just a show. It's nothing to be angry about. But the thing is that it really struck a nerve with me when she said she's playing a carefree black woman. No one was carefree during that time. Shit, I'm not even carefree in 2016. And people trying to debate me like, oh, why you angry about the show for, man? It's 2016. We need diversity. It's like I don't give a damn what today's year is or today's time. It's still 1959, and niggas weren't having a good time. Niggas were not singing and dancing with white folks. You know, and that's why I don't really like shows like Everybody Hate Chris. But the thing is, I can give it kudos because it's accurate. It's an accurate show because you see how white boys or white folks in schools, white kids in schools are. You see the teasing, the taunting, the racial jokes, the frustration. That's real. The bullshit you see on Grease live with the singing, dancing niggas, you know, being the happy token. That shit wasn't real. That was not real. So don't ever forget what the 1950s were like for us. Don't you ever forget that shit. You know, Greece could have been better if it was, you know, based in current times, 90s, 80s, maybe 2000s. But the 50s, don't put black folks into that. Don't put black folks in that because that makes us look stupid, and that just kind of makes it look weird. Like, okay, if we have niggas, in white schools, what was Dr. King doing? What was Malcolm X um, talking about? So, you have to understand, racial politics. You have to understand, shit that, timelines and shit and what was going on during that time because you can't be carefree. And I'm not really shitting on Keke Palmer, even though I don't like her. I do respect her a little bit, but the thing is that and I don't expect her to deny her role, but I'm very wary of her attraction to tokenism because I kind of saw the same tokenism when I was watching shows or especially with that fiasco the issue that was on that show Scream Queens where she's playing a token ghetto black girl who wants to be president and she's this ghetto black girl who's trying to join a white fraternity, no, sorority, you know and she's the token idiot. And there was some controversy about it, about her character, and then Keke Palmer, she played it dumb, and it's like, yeah, you gonna keep being the dumb token bitch if you allow it. And this is the problem with us, with black folks, is that we love diversity, but we really love tokenism more. We love being that black person in an all-white space. We love it, we love it. We love, teaching these white folks our culture, our shit, but we'll complain when they when they act like they invented it and they take credit saying that I created it, I did this on my own, and they forget your black ass. I got mad today over a video that someone shared again of a black African woman. I believe she was Nigerian, teaching her white husband, some tribal dance, and they had the nerve to caption this shit that now he's a full-blooded African. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That bullshit. And then you blacks get mad. You Negroes get mad when motherfuckers take our culture and they credit it to themselves. You got white folks talking about they invented dreadlocks. You got white folks talking about they invented jazz. You got white folks talking about they made rock and roll and disco. Get the fuck out of here. But you keep being the tokens, and you keep teaching them our trade secrets, and then get mad when they credit themselves. But that's all I gotta talk about. That's all.